Hey everyone, today we are talking about the top 5 questions that we get about moving to Maryland, and we're getting started right now. Welcome back to the channel, and thanks so much for joining us, where we discuss all things living in Maryland. If that's the kind of information you're looking for, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell where you will get notified of our new weekly videos. And if you ever have any specific real estate questions, I am a local realtor here in Central Maryland. Feel free to reach out to me anytime. I personally take the calls and text messages to the number on your screen and would love to assist in any way that I can. And let's jump right into it. All right, first question I'm going to start with is COVID. It's been the most popular one since March and all this stuff unfolded throughout the country and the world for that matter. Maryland has taken a pretty middle of the road and conservative approach when it comes to COVID, which is good. For the most part, everyone's taken it very seriously. I very rarely, if ever, see anyone in a store or anything that's not wearing a mask. So Marylanders are taking it pretty seriously, which is good. Real estate never completely shut down. Realtors were deemed essential throughout the national lockdowns and whatnot. So the real estate market has continuously moved throughout COVID. And just this week, Governor Hogan did a press conference where we are scaling back a little bit. So we were at 75% capacity for indoor dining and retail, and that has been bumped back down to 50%. If there's bars that do not serve food, they have been notified to close down. But for the most part, I really can't think of many that don't serve food. So for the most part, they're just going to be scaling back, and hopefully everyone can survive this, and hopefully we can make it to the other end of this. According to the Maryland Department of Health, Maryland has just over 156,000 cases at this time, and the infection rate is 5.25%. And the number of deaths is right around 4,100 at this time. We do know that early on, the state of Maryland put together a strong plan of action to add up to 6,000 beds, just to have the ability to scale in case infections and hospitalizations rise. So we know that the state is taking this very seriously, which is good. Okay, second frequently asked questions in regard to moving to Maryland is diversity. What's it like? What can we expect? So in Maryland, you're going to see all different kinds of people, all different kinds of backgrounds, race, socioeconomic backgrounds, and you're not going to see it just in Baltimore or Greater DC. You're going to see it all throughout Central Maryland. So Maryland, Baltimore, for example, is just about 2 hours from Philly, 3 hours from New York City, and about 45 minutes to DC. So this has just brought in just tons of people from all different kinds of backgrounds here to the area. So you can expect to see that all throughout Maryland. Maryland also has several military bases, two of the biggest ones being the Naval Academy down in Annapolis and Fort Meade. And Fort Meade is Maryland's largest employer with over 56,000 employees, being of military as well as civilians. Also in Maryland, we have tons of government jobs and government contracting jobs, which is constantly bringing people from all over the country and the world here to this area. Next, what about the wildlife? What can we expect there? So in Maryland, you're going to see a ton of different things. You're going to see a ton of white-tailed deer, red fox, squirrels just seem to be everywhere. I look out my back window and there's no joke, like 4 to 6 at a time that I can spot at one time, just hopping around and doing their thing. It was kind of funny when we first moved out here 6 years ago. My wife is from Greater Baltimore, and I'm from originally from Southern California. The first couple months out here, especially in the evening, I was like kind of a nervous wreck driving around, especially down a back road. I was like worried about, is a deer gonna pop out and am I gonna total my car and I was just constantly freaking out about that. But so far, no accidents, no injured deer out there due to my driving. So I have not seen any yet, but we do have black bear out here in Maryland as well, mainly in Western Maryland and in like North Baltimore County, Harford County is more where you're going to see a larger population of them. But in Baltimore County, Howard County, which is Central Maryland, there are, multiple sightings a year. So you know, you're probably not going to see any, but there is a chance that you may see one as well. The Eastern Shore is also home to the Sika deer, which really is the only place in the United States that you're going to see these, which is pretty cool. So if you're ever down that way, make sure to keep your eye out for them. The Eastern Shore and the Chesapeake Bay is also home to tons of different birds and wildlife. All right, next is weather. So what can you expect weather-wise? Maryland, we get it all, and it's completely 100% unpredictable. That's the best answer. So for example, we are sitting in mid-November. We just had 2 to 3 days straight 75-degree days, and now it's heading towards, in a few days, it's going to be in the 40s. So it's just all over the place. Winters can typically be a little mild, but we can get a huge snowstorm as well. It can be anything from a 3-foot snowstorm to really no sticking at all throughout winter. The thing about Maryland is that it typically does not stay cold long enough. So even when we do get a good, decent snowfall, it just doesn't stick around long enough because it's going to get warmer and be gone usually within a day or two. Summers are pretty warm. And there are a ton of bugs, mosquitoes out here, so you're definitely going to want to keep a lot of bug spray handy, and you're going to want to screen in your porch if possible. It's tough to go outside sometimes, especially if you're more susceptible to getting bitten. You're gonna be dealing with that a lot here as well, so that's something to be prepared for. We do get all 4 seasons here in Maryland, which is awesome. The falls and the springs are absolutely beautiful. I just wish the falls and springs lasted a little longer to give us a little bit of break from having to use the heat and the AC in the homes. All right, number 5 is taxes. What can you expect with taxes here in Maryland? So Maryland, the thing that you want to be aware of here in Maryland in regards to taxes is our income tax. So you're probably going to be paying about 5.75% income tax at the state level, and then every county in Maryland has a local county income tax, which is typically ranges from 2.5% to 3.2%. 3.2% is going to be on the highest side. For example, Montgomery, Howard counties, and Baltimore City are going to be at that 3.2 mark, and that's going to be in addition to the 5.75 state income tax. So most of us are going to be typically around that 9% mark, which is something that you want to be prepared for depending on which state, which area you're coming from. Our sales tax is 6%, so it's not too bad. And groceries, they do not apply sales tax to, which is nice. So you can kind of go crazy in the grocery stores without having to worry about sales tax there. And in Maryland, in regards to sales tax, there's no local, jurisdictional, or county additional sales tax. So like in some states like California, they will have like a base sales tax, and then if you're in like LA or LA County or San Diego counties, they would add an additional one. But that's not the case here in Maryland, so it's just a flat 6% on all purchases. If you are considering purchasing a home, property taxes is typically something that people are asking about as well. You can expect on average about 1.25% property tax rate on the sales price. That's going to be the easiest way to kind of generalize and calculate it. If you are in Baltimore City though, it's about double. It's going to be over 2%. So that's something that you want to be aware of. And if you are buying and considering purchasing a newer home, in Maryland, they're called front foot fees. So that's something you just want to ask about and kind of be prepared for. They can range from $300 a year up to as much as $1,000 a year. And what that is in the newer communities, typically in the last 20 years or so, that's going to be paying back the developer for all the sewer lines that were run, the sidewalks that were put into the communities, and the water supply and all that kind of stuff. So that's something that you want to ask about, and they typically last about 30 years. So if you're looking at a home and it does have a front foot fee and it was built in 2000, then you can expect that to be falling off around the 2030 mark. So that's another thing to keep an eye out for. All right, everyone, that's all I got for you. Thanks so much for joining us. If you ever have any questions, feel free to comment below or reach out directly. I love taking your calls in regards to anything real estate here in Maryland. Have a great day, and we'll see you at the next video.